my name is Naarah. I'm a middle school music teacher at a private school in China, and I teach all Chinese students at varying levels of English.
Hi, my name is Megan Gibson, and I teach in East Point, Georgia, which is right next to Atlanta, Georgia. And I teach kindergarten through fifth grade general music, and this is Musically
Musically abroad. Like, so we are obviously in two very different places.
Right.
Megan's in the US, I'm in China, and yeah, I mean we're different in a lot of ways too. Like you have a cat, I have a cat as well, but I have a dog, as we can see.
Doggy Ollie.
He's very cute. Ollie,
We love him.
he's the best. So we're in very different situations, and we thought it'd be really cool to kind of like talk about our experiences as teachers on opposite side of the world, teaching opposite kids. Like I'm teaching private school kids in China who are middle schoolers, and Megan's teaching like elementary school kids at Title I school. So it'd be cool to talk about our experiences as teachers in different places.
Right. So I think basically with our channel, we kind of decided we wanted to give you two different viewpoints. Naarah and I actually were roommates in college for a year, 2 years. And we literally did the entire college program together. We were both music majors. She was literally one of my first friends. Many a night staying up, talking, hanging out, fighting a lot, but it is what it is. But we've grown and we've kind of done this whole 5 years. We're both 5 years in the game, almost 6 after this year, which is crazy. And Naarah's kind of been one of my rocks. And so we were talking one day and I think we both realized like, if we're going to do this YouTube channel and do a social media thing, why not do it together? And so that's what we're kind of here for today. And we want you guys to get to know us. So we have some questions for you guys. So our first question is, what are 3 things that people associate with you?
Oh boy. See, I should add also that like Megan knew the questions. This is my first time hearing them, so I'm like I'll come up with the best I can. Let me think.
What are three things that people associate with you? So when people think of Naarah, what are 3 things that they think of?
Okay. Oh boy. I feel like there's a lot of things, but like, Okay. BTS.
Yep. Yes. Absolutely.
Singing. Ollie and Duke.
I think that's all fair.
Yeah. Ollie is my dog, who's over here, and Duke is my cat.
The only other thing I would say would be like traveling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, that's okay.
I 2020, so.
I feel like that's no, not any in 2020. But I feel like that's known since you're teaching in China.
Yeah.
It's not. Naarah likes to travel a lot. A lot. I'm jealous. Let's see. Okay, so 3 things that people associate with me. Atlanta United / Georgia Bulldogs / New England Patriots, because I'm obsessed with sports. Video games, probably, and coffee. I feel like that's
it. That's about right.
Yeah.
I would add hoop earrings though.
Which I made sure to wear.
Of course.
On though, they're uncomfortable with a mask on, so I have not been.
They should make some that have like a little hole that you can slide the string through, so like you can't see it, but like it, you know.
I feel like I like that idea, but that makes me nervous. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds a little dicey, actually.
Imagine it coming out like, wow.
That's never mind. Nobody makes that. Don't even think about that. That's not a good idea.
All right. So this is from Matt, who's one of our closest friends. Let's do the importance of grades in a modern classroom, particularly with performance classes. What are your thoughts on this?
I'll let you go first with this one because I have a lot of thoughts.
Okay.
So you go
At my school, and I'll just be honest, my school, they kind of don't, everybody gets an A pretty much. And for me personally, I don't think this is being lazy. I personally don't get it. I am one of those people, I would rather have a task list or a checklist with their skills and then check it off as they go. I don't see the importance of doing a singing exam when one
Mhm.
student may not feel comfortable singing, but they can
Yeah,
show the same skill doing something else.
right.
So, me personally, I'm not a fan of them.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. Especially with performance tasks, I think like there's certain things in music that you can qualify, right? Like sight reading. Like there is kind of like you get a certain number right or you're a certain level of accuracy. Um, so things like that. Yes, like music theory, like if you're trying to label lines and spaces, you get it right or you get it wrong, right? But when it comes to performance based tasks, everything is so subjective as well. So
Right.
for the students, it's subjective, but then for the audience, it's subjective as well. So it's like it's hard to put a grade on something, especially when if there's like an emotional connection to it. Like say a student is emotional about something, or you know, really gets into singing like a solo or something, and it just doesn't come out sounding exactly right. Like, am I going to put a score on that? I don't
Right.
feel comfortable with that. But so when it comes to grades in my classroom, my school is kind of different. I think a lot of schools are moving in this direction, but my school is standards based. So we don't do like traditional ABC grades or percentage grades. Our grades are based off of EPAN or I. E is exemplary, P proficient, A is approaching, and N is not yet. And so we give kids grades based on rubrics. So I think for me, that kind of tied that in a little bit, like where I don't feel comfortable giving a grade for performance, but I'm okay with kind of giving the kids a rubric and showing them like in order like this is what a P performance would look like, this is what an E performance would look like, this is what an A, and so kids will kind of score all over the board, right? Like you are. One part of the performance might be E, but then some other pieces might be P. And then that kind of also allows the kids to see exactly what you thought. And if they don't agree, they can reflect on it and be like, I don't know. Like they can talk about what's on the rubric. So we use rubrics a lot, which I think is which helps with that like piece, that grading piece, like you mentioned, like a checklist of things.
Right.
So I like that, and I don't mind the EPAN system either because it takes away that kind of that percentage stigma where it's like, oh, I got a 99 versus like a
Right.
96. That would all be an E, you know? So it kind of takes away that piece of it. So I like that a lot more. So
I think
my I guess my perspective on grades is like I don't think that for performance tasks they're necessarily helpful, but I think that they do have a place, especially if you're in a school where like the system or the kids in that system need grades to feel validated. Like culturally in China, grades are very, very important to parents and kids. So it's like to take that away to say, oh, that's not important, that's not helpful either. So I think finding a place in the middle is helpful.
I think
That
that
was
was
a lot of talking. Was that too much talking?
I think that was a great response. And again, like we're in totally different, not even like areas of, I mean, we obviously we're in different parts of the world, but like we're teaching different students too. Like I'm teaching kindergarten to fifth grade. So grades for us hits different than it does for middle school or high schoolers. And same with like private versus public. In America, we're kind of teaching towards the test, whatever test is coming up. So even for specials, we're still important, but we're even helping teaching to the test. So we're teaching those literacy skills, those math skills, those things that they need extra help in that they're not getting in their class, not necessarily not getting in their classrooms, but they just need extra support. So I feel like we're just on two totally different spectrums. So it's interesting to hear about the grades. Uh,
Yeah,
I like
really.
that a lot. Okay, let's see. What do you do to get rid of stress?
Ooh. To get rid of stress, I sing. That's like my, and I'm glad I'm finally, so I have been away from China for the past almost 9 months. And my apartment, I love it because I have an apartment where like my neighbors only live there 2 days out of the year. So when I'm home, I can sing at the top of my lungs like when I'm stressed or need to like decompress, that's what I do. And I'm glad I'm back because now I can like literally if something whenever I need to de-stress, I kind of can put everything away and just like turn on music and just like karaoke by myself. That's kind of like my thing. But then also like honestly probably like taking a nap is also a good way to relieve some stress. Like this is too
Yeah,
stressful. I'm gonna go to sleep and
you
then
know,
wake up when you're fresh and have a better mind to like think through any situation.
totally. I was about to say, yeah, I remember in college many a time you would be like, I'm too stressed. Good night. Okay, bye. Sleep well.
That's about right. Yep.
Yeah. I think for me, well, I'm on medication. I am someone who is a huge advocate for medication and not being afraid to get it when you need it because I didn't realize until I was in my third year of college that I have severe anxiety. And it's to the point where I'm a typical I cancel plans anyway because I don't like to leave my house. But like I was doing it for reasons that were like silly. Like I was afraid to walk outside my door. So I am someone who advocates for meds if it is going to affect your day-to-day life. I live with it. I love my meds. They saved my life. But also video games, working out. I love working out. I haven't done it in a while because I'm in grad school, but working out saves everything. And eating, but like not like binging, like going out to eat to a place that I haven't before, being like the foodie life. I feel like that's really fun to do too, and just getting out of the stress world.
Megan, your habits are so like healthy, like mentally healthy, physically healthy, working out, eating, medication. Like that's very like all the good things. You do it so good.
It's the typical.
Manifest. What about manifesting?
Oh my God, I totally manifest 24/7. I live for my manifesting. If you guys don't know what manifesting is, I have a ritual, and I'm actually manifesting right now. I have my candles sitting on the TV, next to my TV, and different colors signify different things. So right now I have a white one for purity and positivity, and I have a red one for bringing a healthy relationship when I'm ready. And I manifest those throughout whenever I feel necessary. I'll put on music. I'll turn all my lights off. I have a skylight and I'll put it up. I'll lay on the floor. I do the whole hippie thing. And when I tell you, it gets you in your feels. Quarantine was manifesting season and I came out a totally new person. We live for manifesting, friends. Look it up. Look it up.
Y'all see how Megan's life is just like coming together. It's amazing. I gotta say I'm so proud of you. You're just like
Thanks.
going on a pathway up, which is really really awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Side note, there is literal mosquito repellent giving me a headache in this classroom, and two mosquitoes just flew past my face like there's nothing inside this room. I'm so angry. What's the point? It does not work. That's it. Anyway.
All right. Let's see. How do you create boundaries when forming positive relationships with students?
Ooh. So I think, so for me, and again, I'm teaching middle school. So for them, I'd say, I mean, for all students, relationships are really important. I think middle schoolers are at an age where they need that like support, especially with my school is a boarding school. So my kids don't see their families very often. They see us more than they see their families. So building that relationship is integral in what I do. But there has to be boundaries. And as I've kind of like as I've been teaching, I've kind of learned how to set those boundaries a little bit better. So I think it's really just a part of like letting kids know like when it's the time to be friendly and relaxed and casual, and when there's a time to be professional. And I think that you can be both. Like I think that a lot of teachers will say like you need to be professional at all times, which of course you should be professional up to a certain level. But for me, I am very casual with my students in out of class interactions. Like truly, we'll talk about like things that are going on with them. They'll ask me about what's going on in my life too, and we share those things together. And we sometimes the kids will give me a video game they like to play, and we'll play together. Like Among Us is a game I played with a couple of my kids recently. It's so fun, but yeah, in out of class interactions, I'm very casual with my students. But then in class, it's a whole different ballgame. Like in class, we are here to get our work done, to learn these performances. There's construction going on outside right now, which is fabulous. Welcome to
Right.
China. There's always construction going on
I
somewhere.
was about to say, happy.
Um, okay. Um, yeah, in the classroom, I make it clear on the first day of school, like with my eighth graders especially. So I teach seventh and eighth grade. In seventh grade, they're all brand new, and so that relationship building kind of, I take it slow with them. I go slowly with building that closeness with them. By the time the kids are in grade eight, we're really really close. Like I have a really good relationship with my grade eights. But when school starts, I make it clear every time. It's like there's a time for like silliness, casual talking, joking around, and there's a time for focus and working and getting things done. And with my kids, that's been pretty successful. Some kids will try to toe the line with that, like in class, try to, pull something or be silly or, and I always shut that down or ignore and just not let that happen in class. So for me, I am like very, like I said, very open, very casual with my students, but there's a time for that and there's a time for not. And so I just make that super, super clear with my kids.
Off that point, honestly, I'm the same way with my students. I do teach kindergarten to fifth grade. So, every kindergartners, you're going to treat fifth graders different how you treat kindergartners. But actually, if you come into my room, honestly, I treat my kindergartners the same way I treat my fifth graders, because I don't want them growing up and being like, well, why did you treat me like this when I was this age? But now you treat me like this. I treat them all the same. Especially in my room. The only thing that's really difficult right now is that we're in a pandemic and I can't hug kids. I'm like a huge hugger. Like the kids, like our kids love hugs, and it stinks that I can't. It is what it is. But I I teach at a predominantly African American school, and my first year, the first thing that my kids heard were, "You're just a white lady who's going to leave in 2 weeks." The first words that I heard. Now, 5 years later, that's clearly not the case, but I really had to focus on building those relationships. I used to hold a lunch bunch every single day for my fifth graders, who were the ones that thought I was going to leave them. And they could come in, have lunch, they could spend their recess. I didn't care. And now, as I've gone on, now with most of my kids being virtual, I have virtual lunch bunches. I think it also, the parents help with building those student relationships. If it wasn't for the parents and getting to know them and knowing that most of them are my age, it's just one of those. And I love like building relationships. I pride myself on being that teacher that's really good with the bad kids, because it's literally my favorite thing. Like they need somebody in their corner too, so why not me?
But to kind of like jump off of that too, it's like it's kind of sad for me with parents because I didn't teach in the States. I've only taught abroad. But when I was in Korea and then when I was student teaching and teaching, like I taught at a nonprofit organization that had a. So I used to teach in college. I was teaching an after school program, and then I also taught choir to first and second graders. Wrap your head around that. So it was like 50 first and second graders. It was a lot for my first time at like 20 years old. But in teaching those kids, I found that getting to know their parents was really helpful. But at my school, unfortunately, a lot of our parents, well, not a lot, a good chunk of our parents don't speak English at all. And the vast majority of our parents aren't comfortable, like they're not very confident in English. So if I was to come up to them to speak, they probably could understand me, but they wouldn't feel confident enough to respond back. So building that relationship piece is kind of difficult with the parents. And I know how helpful that can be, especially with a boarding school. Like to be able, I would love to be able to connect with the parents more and to kind of like help them have a more of a peek into what their kids are doing every day. Because I know it's not easy to be away from your kids for 5 days a week, unless you hate your kid. But
I have a child. I couldn't imagine.
yeah, no. It's so yeah. I miss that piece, that parental relationship piece.
Yeah,
For sure.
it's different. It's nice, I will say. It has its ups and downs, but I definitely like being able to connect with our parents. I hate that we can't see them right now, but I like connecting with them.
Yeah. On top, well, real quick, one thing that I thought was really cute yesterday. So it was cute. So I got out of quarantine 2 days ago. And like I think so my first day back at school was open house. So it was like just the wildest day because I hadn't seen my kids since February. So speaking of relationships, like after building these like close relationships with them, I didn't get a chance to like see my eighth graders like for the whole rest of the year. Like I didn't get to see them. Their graduation ceremony was cut off because of Wi-Fi issues, so we didn't get to like say our little words of encouragement to them before grade 9. So we missed out a lot of that stuff. And so yesterday was wild. I had like a bunch of kids like flooding my room. Like all the kids who were in eighth grade last year came to visit in the morning and just sat in a circle around my desk, and we all caught up and everything. And my first time seeing my eighth graders, or my current eighth graders, was when their parents came with them for open house. So I was thinking, like some parents are really like serious and think school should be serious, and like I'm gonna try to calm down and not get too excited about seeing the kids, and but what happened was I opened the door for open house to start, and the kids ran in screaming, gave me a huge hug, which in Chinese culture it's not typical to hug people you hug your family and stuff, but to hug like someone who's not family or really close friends is really strange. So like the kids coming in to hug me, even like just it was so cute that the parents, when I looked up, they all had their phones out and were going, "Aw," and were recording us hugging. It was really sweet. So I guess another thing is like building relationships like that. It's so important, and I think that everybody knows how important it is. Even parents who, in general, appreciate when school is more like strict, and the kids are like studying all the time and learning, where that's culturally important. Also, even parents can recognize how important building relationships is, to the point that we were probably put on WeChat. I'm probably on some parents' WeChat, which is like Chinese
That's
like
okay.
messaging app.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
I'm probably on someone's social media today, which I'm okay with.
So that leads me into my next question. What is your favorite teaching memory?
Oh,
Favorite memory while teaching?
you go first.
Okay, mine's gonna be really straight and simple to the point. My first year, my fourth graders designed my first tattoo. So
Oh,
I get a tattoo every single year since my second year of teaching. I think it might be my second year, but it was my first, like fifth, whatever it is. I can't remember off the top of my head. And my fourth graders at the time were like, "You should get a tattoo." I was like, "Okay, cool. I've always wanted one. I need help designing it." So we spent a whole class period making this design. It's a bracelet. And they said I could add the rest of the lines if I wanted to, but I should just do the top and the bottom one to make it look like a bracelet. So yeah, they helped me design my first tattoo, and then my second tattoo is of my first year of chorus club, and it says "Rise Unafraid" because our first song that we sang together, and I'm gonna try not to get emotional because this was a moment. We were singing "Rise Up" by Audrey Day. I think that's how you say her name. And
yep.
I gave the solo to somebody who has severe stage fright, to the point where she has anxiety attacks like me. But she sang it so well, and I was like, "I think you've got this. Can you do it for me?" And she's like, "Yeah, I can." So we were in the room practicing, and she starts crying, and then all the girls in the front row come up and sing with her, and then we have everybody in the choir who starts crying and singing, and I was like, you will never have an experience like that again. Um, so glad that I could give it to you. So I had to get that tattooed on me. So those are my two. I know it's supposed to be one of my two favorite memories.
I love that. Oh, I love moments like that where it's just like,
Right.
come on, you can do it, and she's so scared, and then she gets up there and kills it, and everyone's just,
She
oh,
destroyed it. It was so good.
I love that. I'm
So
glad you had that moment.
you guys tell me yours now.
So there's a few, but like, I mean, we all have a few. I think my favorite one probably is like 4 years in the making almost. So, or 3 years in the making. So my first year, I had a student. I'm not going to name names, but I had a student when I taught. I don't want to name a class, And this student was kind of like the troublemaker of the school, kind of like, and he would even admit to this. Like, he was constantly pulled into meetings. There was always emails being sent about him. I was pulled into a meeting with other teachers to talk about him, and in that meeting, it was kind of like all the teachers were kind of like bashing him almost. There was no like trying to figure out what to do with him. It was just like, oh, he's awful, right? And I kind of made it my point to get to know him a little bit more, and he and I got really close. So like I started ignoring his like word like not so good behaviors, and like awarding his good ones and noticing his good ones and joking with him and making teasing him and like playing around with him, and outside of class like getting to know him. And he's kind of he's not one of those like loud bad kids. He's one of those like kind of quiet ones that, well, he was kind of a bully too. So he'll kind of like bully kids like quietly, or really really sneaky, or like kind of tease somebody over time, or like just wouldn't do his work, or would like try to like mess around with his friends, or like we call it touching fish in China, because mo yu, which is like touching fish, which means to play on your phone while you're in class and the
Oh,
teacher's not looking. It's like because it's slippery, I guess. I don't know. It's called touching fish. So yeah, he would like try to touch fish in class, and everything. So he was just like not good, wouldn't do his work, all that stuff. But me and him got really close. He didn't get better. He didn't give me as many issues as he gave other teachers, but he still gave me issues. But I still made it a point to interact with him as positively as possible. That was when he was in 10th grade. And then in 11th grade, I didn't teach him anymore. And still, I would pass him in the hallway, and he would run up to me like a kid, like a little kid. This is an 11th grade like child, right? So he's running up to me like a little kid, like, Miss Calendar, I missed you so much. I'm like, oh, I miss you too. And then he'd go off and do whatever he was gonna do. Or if I would be passing him in the gym and he's playing basketball, he would see me and go, Miss Calendar, catch, and throw me the basketball, and I'd throw it back at him. And he's, because he's a quiet kid, so he's not like a big, affectionate
right.
person. But like him throwing me a basketball in the middle of him playing a basketball game with other kids, that means a lot. So 12th grade year, it's when COVID, this was last year, so COVID was happening. And I saw him a couple times at the beginning of the year, but not very many. And then towards the end of the year, my TA who was here, she was saying, oh, he kept coming back, like looking for you to see if you were here, because they're graduating, so they're leaving. And he was like, he kept coming back to see if you came back yet. And it's like, oh, so I sent him a message. And then he sent me a message in Chinese because, again, he's not an affectionate kid. So he didn't want me to read in English. He can write in English. At this point, he can speak English just fine. But he wanted me to read it in Chinese, so I would have to translate it, and I wouldn't have to, like, it wasn't as direct. So basically, when I translated it, his email said, like, thank you for never giving up on me. You're, like, the best teacher I've had at NCPA. You're the only one who has seen the good side of me. And I'll never forget that, and I'll never forget you. Also, please don't respond when you read this message. After you translate this message, please don't respond. Thank you. That was it.
It's so sweet. I'm literally tearing up. Like,
Oh,
that is so sweet. Like, you just don't know what effect you put on your students. And it's so nice
right.
when it's like a bad kid who
Yeah. And that was
kid has been
not
affected.
that kid. And that was 3 years ago that he was my student.
Yeah.
In the past 3 years, besides the year I taught him, I've seen him. I could probably count on two hands, maybe like less than 10 times, the amount of times I've actually seen him. And we haven't really ever had like a conversation since then because, he's, doing his junior things, and he didn't do music again after he left my class. But so we never really had conversations, but like that moment 3 years ago meant so much to him that year, where I like made it a point to see the good in him, that he wrote me a message where he didn't want me to respond, a cryptic message in Chinese that I had to translate. I had to use Google Translate to figure out what he was saying because he was too not emotional to actually like say it directly. So it was really, really sweet. And I still have that message, and now I have his WeChat. And so now that he's out of there, I need to check up on him and see how he's doing.
So
So yeah,
cute.
that's probably my favorite moment. One of my big favorite moments for
I
sure.
love it. All right, I only have one more question left because we've kind of talked about everything.
Yeah.
But the last question is, if you had an intro song, what would it be? It better be something BTS.
Yes, actually. So, okay, let me just preface by saying I'm a big BTS fan. I'm not afraid of saying that. I'm not ashamed of it. You can call me a bad musician because I enjoy like BTS is
They're
like bumping.
fabulous. So you're not.
Listen, right, because the music that is mainstream from BTS in the United States is not their best music. Okay, their best music. Have you listened to their hip hop? Have you listened to their R&B? Have you listened to their ballads? Well, then you don't know BTS. So I need you to like, just because you think, oh, Dynamite is trash, Idol is trash. Yeah, it kind of is. And you know what? That's not their best music. So, okay, sorry, I had to.
Okay, don't let me.
I just had to clear that up.
That's fair.
Listen to Autumn Leaves, okay? Listen to Love Is Not Over, the outro. Listen to any of Suga's mixtape, any of RM's mixtapes, okay? Listen to One Verse by J-Hope, all right? Like, just take your time, go listen, and, you know, like,
Take your time.
anyway. So, so also BTS's music is so diverse, and their music has such a message for like encouraging like people in our age group. So like, you know, like at that cusp between Gen Z and millennial, like that's where we are. That's where they are too. They're the same age as us. So their music has always been about encouraging our generation, and that's why I love them. So definitely my theme song would be from BTS, and I think it would be. Okay, this is kind of cheesy, but like, I feel like I have a pretty positive outlook on life, and it's like maybe almost to a detriment for me sometimes. But the song Euphoria by Jungkook is popping up in my head a lot, and it's really, it's beautiful. It has a beautiful melody, a beautiful, like, I love it. And the whole song is about like talking about like, I mean, their songs are a lot of like seeming like they're talking to a girl, but really the girl represents like a situation. And so he's talking about like situations or parts of life that make you feel euphoric and happy, and what is the cause of your euphoria. And I can say that about a lot of things, and so I think that would be my theme song. Like, there's a lot of things to be happy about, and I could point out a lot of things. Yeah, I know. We're gonna go outside soon, okay? We're gonna go outside soon. And we're gonna play. We're gonna play. Um, yeah, there are a lot of things that can be positive about. So I think Euphoria by Jungkook, which by the way, you should go listen to his performance of it and go watch it. Hi, Ollie.
Oh
Hi,
my.
buddy.
Hi, baby.
Hi, baby.
Oh my goodness.
He's so cute.
Let's see. Okay, so mine. If I'm thinking strictly music teacher, I have one song that I use as a warm up every single class for every single grade level. So I hear it 6 times a day, 5
Oh
days a
boy.
week. It is called Symphony by Clean Bandit. It is so fabulous. You might if you look it up. But it's high energy. My students, if I don't play it, heaven forbid. Well, it's the end of the world. My goodness. It's just a really upbeat song. It's kind of what you want when you go into a music classroom, like ready to go, having fun, and they really do love it. They sing along. They thought it was trash when they first heard it, but 4 years later, you are loving it. So but if I'm talking theme song for my life, oh wow, this one's difficult. I feel like it changes depending on the season. Is that just me?
I think so.
Okay, so I'm obsessed with the song. It was originally by Corinne Bailey Ray, I think that's her name. And
Girl, put your records on.
Put Your Records On. But they remixed
On.
it on TikTok, and it's like this cute, like little techno-ish, electronic. It just makes you happy and like bouncy. And like anytime I get irritated, I put it on, and we just like, it's fun.
What was that? That like that. Is it this thing that?
Hey, hey, hey. Oh God. Oh Lord, heaven forbid my
Oh, TikTok.
So, okie dokie. So those were our questions. And that's just a little bit about us. We're excited. This is new for both of us. Without each other, I don't think we would do this.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Not
Not
at
at
all.
all. I'm glad you're doing this with me.
Yes. Oh my God. I would not be doing it without you at all. So
Well, check out next week to see a little slice of my life in China and what it's like living here. I just got back, so I'm really excited to show everybody all the cool things about living here. So check out next week to see a piece of my life.
yes, and if
China.
you want to follow us on our Instagrams, because we're going to plug our social media, except I need to
Cool.
pull mine up because I don't know what mine is at this
Ha! Musically, Miss Megan.
Thank you for that promotion. Yes.
Check out Megan Musically Miss Megan or at Musically Miss Megan on Instagram.
And then you can also follow me on Twitter, which I'm going to pull that one up because I don't remember that one. It's Miss Gibson 94. My Twitter is always popping if you want ideas for the classroom and elementary music.
Me.
Okay, and you can follow Naarah at Miss Calendar Abroad.
That's it on Instagram. I only have Instagram.
And on that note, you guys, I think we're going to sign off here. So again, we're musically abroad and we're excited to get started.
Yay!
See you guys on our next video. Bye.
Bye.